The Starship Odyssey glided through the endless black of space, its silver hull reflecting distant stars like scattered diamonds. Inside the ship, Ethan Riker sat in the pilot's seat, his fingers tapping the armrest in rhythm with his thoughts. He had flown countless missions, but none felt like this. Nova Prime was a frontier colony on the edge of human-inhabited space, a place full of unknowns, possibilities, and danger. Ethan's mission was simple on paper: deliver essential supplies and act as a liaison to the newly discovered alien species, the Valari, whose technology promised to advance humanity beyond imagination. Simple, yes, but the presence of alien life always complicated things. Diplomacy was a fragile game, and missteps could ignite conflict that humans weren't ready for. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. The ship's AI, Aurora, spoke in her calm, melodic voice. "Ethan, we are approaching the Nova Prime orbit, estimated docking in 5 minutes. Ethan nodded, though Aurora couldn't see him. "Copy that, Aurora. Prepare the docking sequence. I want everything perfect for the first impression." He ran a hand through his dark hair and glanced at the viewport. The colony hung in orbit like a jewel suspended in black. Its towers gleamed faintly under the light of Nova Prime's sun, a mixture of human architecture and alien technology. Even from this distance, he could see ships moving in precise formations, a sign that the colony was organized and not just a ragtag frontier settlement. The landing bay was bustling when he arrived. Humans and Valari worked side by side, moving cargo and repairing ships. The Valari were unlike any species Ethan had encountered, tall, with translucent skin that glimmered faintly in the artificial lights, and eyes that seemed to see into the soul. Their movements were elegant and deliberate, yet there was strength in them, a sense of discipline honed over centuries. Amid the crowd, Lyra appeared. She was easy to spot. Her red hair contrasted sharply against the silver uniforms of the engineers, and her confident posture drew attention. She approached Ethan with a smile that was both friendly and challenging. "Ethan Riker, I presume?" she asked. Her voice was clear and confident, carrying a weight of authority despite her youthful appearance. "That's me," Ethan replied, stepping forward. He extended a hand, but she didn't take it immediately. Instead, she studied him carefully, as if trying to determine whether he was worth her trust. Finally, she said, "My dad will approve of you. I trust you." Ethan blinked. He wasn't sure if it was a joke or serious. Lyra's eyes were steady, unflinching. There was an honesty in them that made it clear she meant every word. "I promise I won't disappoint you," Ethan said, and he meant it. Lyra's expression softened slightly, and she nodded. "Good. Follow me. I'll show you to the council chamber. My dad wants to meet you before you start your work." As they walked, Ethan couldn't help noticing how the Valari and humans interacted. There was cooperation, yes, but also a sense of caution. Neither side fully trusted the other yet. He understood. Trust was earned, not given, and he had a long road ahead if he wanted to prove humanity's worth. The council chamber was a large, circular room suspended high above the colony floor. The walls shimmered with holographic displays of Nova Prime's orbital systems, showing trade routes, defense grids, and population centers. At the center, a man stood, Governor Kale, Lyra's father. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with sharp features and eyes that missed nothing. He radiated authority, yet there was a warmth in his gaze when he looked at Lyra. "Ethan Riker," Governor Kale said, his voice deep and commanding. "Lyra speaks highly of you. I hope you live up to her trust." Ethan bowed slightly. "Governor Kale, I will do everything in my power to honor it." The governor studied him for a long moment, as if weighing the man's character. Then he nodded. "We have a delicate situation. The Valari are cautious of humans, and rightly so. We must demonstrate that we are capable of coexistence and that humanity brings value beyond raw numbers. Can you handle that?" Ethan's heart raced slightly. This was more than just a routine mission. It was a test of human ingenuity, diplomacy, and adaptability. "Yes, sir. I can handle it." "Good," Cale said. "Then let's begin." Lyra led Ethan to a smaller room adjacent to the council chamber. There, she showed him plans for a new Valari human project, a space station designed to study deep space anomalies. Lyra's hands moved across the holographic display, adjusting details and explaining her work with passion. "You'll need to understand their technology before you can help," she said. "The Valari aren't just advanced, they think differently. Their systems are intuitive to them, but alien to us. You'll need to adapt." Ethan nodded, absorbing every detail. "I've dealt with complex systems before. I can learn quickly." Lyra smirked. "We'll see." Over the next few hours, they explored the colony. Ethan observed the humans and Valari working side by side, exchanging knowledge and repairing equipment. He saw moments of tension, a Valari refusing a human suggestion, a human misunderstanding a Valari instruction, but also glimpses of cooperation that promised hope. As they walked through the hydroponic gardens, Ethan noticed Lyra pausing by a cluster of luminescent plants. "These are unique to Nova Prime," she explained. "They're engineered to survive in the planet's low-light conditions. Humans couldn't have done this alone. We needed Valari insight." Ethan looked around, impressed. "It's amazing. You've really built something special here." Lyra smiled. "It's not just me. It's everyone. Humans, Valari. We all contribute. But it's fragile. One mistake, one misunderstanding, and it could all fall apart." Ethan understood. The colony wasn't just a collection of buildings and technology. It was a symbol of cooperation between species that had every reason to distrust each other. Protecting it would require more than courage. It would require empathy, intelligence, and adaptability. As the day drew to a close, Ethan and Lyra returned to the landing bay. The setting sun cast long shadows across the colony, painting the metallic structures in hues of gold and orange. Ships lifted off, carrying supplies to distant outposts. The air buzzed with activity, a testament to human and Valari ingenuity working together. Lyra turned to Ethan, her expression serious but encouraging. "Tomorrow, your real test begins. We'll see how well you handle their simulations. If you succeed, you'll prove that humans are more than just soldiers and pilots. You'll prove that we can work together." Ethan met her gaze, feeling a mixture of nerves and excitement. "I won't let you down. Not you, not your father, and not this colony." Lyra's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "I know. I can feel it. But remember, it's not just about following rules or completing tasks. It's about thinking ahead, adapting, and showing that humanity can rise to any challenge." As he watched her walk away, Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was different. This was about trust, cooperation, and proving humanity's worth on the edge of the galaxy. He would rise to the challenge, not just for himself, but for everyone counting on him. The stars outside the bay seemed to shine a little brighter as he stood there, ready for what lay ahead. The mission, the tests, the unknown threats lurking beyond Nova Prime's orbit. They would all come, and Ethan Riker would meet them head-on. For the first time in a long while, he felt something he hadn't in years: hope. And hope, he knew, was the kind of power that could change the course of the stars. The next morning, the sky above Nova Prime was painted in pale hues of orange and lavender. Ethan Riker stepped onto the observation platform, feeling the light hum of the colony beneath his feet. Today was no ordinary day. It was the day he would face his first real test, not in battle, but in proving that humans could think, adapt, and earn the trust of the Valari. Lyra met him at the platform, holding a small data pad. Her hair caught the morning light, glowing faintly, and her eyes sparkled with a mix of amusement and seriousness. "Ready?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." Lyra led him into the heart of the colony, to a sleek structure known as the Simulation Hall. Its walls were made of polished alloy that reflected the stars outside, and inside, dozens of holographic stations projected scenarios for both humans and Valari. "This is where your first evaluation begins," Lyra explained. "Your father believes that humans are clever and adaptable, but he wants proof. We'll start with simulations, not combat alone, but problem-solving, quick thinking, and decision-making under pressure. It's not enough to follow instructions, you need to innovate." Ethan listened carefully. "I understand. What kind of scenarios?" Lyra tapped a few commands into her pad, and the holographic display shifted. The first scenario appeared, a damaged colony station orbiting a volatile star with life support systems failing. "You'll need to stabilize the station," Lyra said. "You have access to the controls, but some systems are alien. You'll need to figure them out without causing more damage." Ethan stepped forward, examining the display. He quickly realized the challenge was more complicated than he expected. The alien technology was unfamiliar, with symbols and mechanisms he had never seen. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. "Step 1, he murmured. Observe before acting." He studied the patterns of the system failures, noting the sequence in which they occurred. He experimented with small adjustments, testing how the alien interfaces responded. Slowly, methodically, he began to bring the systems back online. Lyra watched quietly, impressed. "Not bad," she said softly. "Remember, it's about thinking ahead. Predict what could fail next, and plan accordingly." The holographic scenario intensified. Suddenly, an energy surge threatened to overload the station's core. Ethan's hands flew over the controls, rerouting power and recalibrating alien circuits using principles he understood from human engineering. Sweat dotted his forehead, but his focus never wavered. After several tense minutes, the system stabilized. Lights returned to green on the display, and the simulation signaled success. Lyra clapped lightly. "You did it," she said. "That's a good start, but the real challenge isn't just systems. It's leadership." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Leadership?" "Yes," Lyra said. "Next scenario. You won't just handle machines, you'll handle people. Humans and Valari working together." The next simulation projected a crisis on a remote mining colony. A meteor storm was approaching, threatening to destroy habitats. Civilians, both human and Valari, needed evacuation. Ethan had limited resources: a few transport shuttles, energy shields, and personnel with varying skills. "Coordinate the evacuation," Lyra instructed. "Remember, the Valari think differently. You'll need to communicate clearly and quickly, or lives will be lost." Ethan's mind raced. He divided the resources efficiently, assigning Valari engineers to operate advanced shielding systems while humans handled shuttle logistics. He created contingency plans, anticipating what could go wrong if a shuttle failed or a meteor hit unexpectedly. He moved through the simulation as if it were real, issuing commands and adjusting in real time. When the storm hit, one of the shuttle's engines faltered. Ethan quickly recalculated the routes, sending another shuttle to assist. Civilians were guided to safe zones, and the storm passed with minimal casualties. Lyra's eyes widened. "You're good," she said. "Better than I expected." Ethan shrugged, but inside a surge of pride warmed him. "I'm just doing what needs to be done," he said. The next test was different. Lyra led him to a room filled with holographic projections of unfamiliar alien landscapes. Deep canyons, dense forests, and floating islands above boiling oceans. "These are survival simulations," she explained. "You'll be placed in extreme environments. Your goal is to find resources, build shelters, and navigate safely. You can't rely on humans or Valari knowing the terrain. You have to think, adapt, and survive." Ethan nodded, his excitement growing. He had survived hostile planets before, but these simulations were designed to push his limits in thinking, not just brute strength. He materialized in the first landscape, a rocky canyon with sudden acid rains. He quickly identified shelter areas, collecting materials that could withstand the harsh conditions. Using both human ingenuity and insights he had gained from observing Valari engineering, he constructed a temporary safe zone. Hours passed in the simulation, though it felt like minutes. Ethan navigated treacherous terrain, found hidden water sources, and avoided hazards that could have ended the scenario. By the time he completed it, he was exhausted but exhilarated. Lyra smiled again. "You're proving more than skill," she said. "You're proving resourcefulness. That's what humans need to show the Valari." Finally, the last test was the hardest. It combined all previous challenges, system failures, leadership, and survival, simultaneously. A colony was under attack by hostile aliens, their technology unknown, while natural disasters compounded the chaos. Ethan had to coordinate humans and Valari, stabilize systems, and ensure survival. He took a deep breath and immersed himself in the simulation. Orders flew from his lips, adjustments were made, and every decision mattered. Time and again he had to improvise, relying on instincts honed over years of missions. One Valari engineer, a tall figure with translucent skin that glimmered faintly, hesitated when a complex control panel failed. Ethan calmly guided him through the adjustments, explaining in terms both species could understand. Another human pilot panicked as a shuttle's engines faltered. Ethan quickly took control, stabilizing it with rapid calculations and precise commands. The scenario pushed him to exhaustion, but he didn't falter. Step by step, he solved problems, led his team, and kept the simulation alive. When the final threat ended, the room fell silent. Every holographic display signaled success. Lyra turned to him, awe in her eyes. "Ethan, that was incredible. You handled everything perfectly." Before he could respond, the door opened and Governor Kale stepped in. His expression was unreadable as he studied Ethan. "Impressive," he said finally. "You didn't just complete the simulations, you excelled. You thought ahead, adapted, and led humans and Valari alike. You've shown that humans are capable of more than I expected." Ethan felt a rush of relief and pride. "Thank you, sir. I only did what I thought was necessary." Kyle nodded slowly. "That's exactly the quality I wanted to see. Your actions today prove that trust in humans is not misplaced. You're not just a pilot. You're a problem solver, a leader, and someone who can bridge the gap between species." Lyra smiled at Ethan, her initial faith in him reaffirmed. "I told you," she said softly. "I knew you could do it." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. He realized that the trust Lyra had placed in him wasn't just a compliment. It was a responsibility, and he had lived up to it. As the day ended, Ethan and Lyra walked back through the colony, observing humans and Valari working side by side. He noticed the subtle changes, a Valari helping a human repair a generator, humans explaining procedures to their alien counterparts. Cooperation was growing, trust was building, and he had been a part of it. "This is only the beginning," Lyra said. "Tomorrow you'll face real-world challenges. The simulations prepared you, but nothing can truly replicate what's out there in the frontier." Ethan nodded, determination burning in his chest. "Then I'll be ready. Whatever comes, we'll face it together, humans, Valari, and all of us here." The sun set over Nova Prime, painting the colony in golden light. Ethan watched it in silence, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He had proven himself, yes, but the journey was just beginning. Ahead lay challenges he couldn't yet imagine, dangers that could threaten everything they had built, and opportunities to show that humanity was not just resilient. It was exceptional. And for the first time, Ethan felt truly at home among the stars, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The morning sky above Nova Prime was tinged with silver, and the colony hummed with activity. Ethan Riker moved through the busy corridors, observing humans and Valari working together in harmony. After successfully completing the simulations, he had gained respect, not just from Lyra and her father, but also from the Valari engineers and human crew alike. But the calm of the morning was deceptive. Far beyond Nova Prime's orbit, sensors detected something unusual, an approaching fleet. At first, it seemed like a routine patrol, but the readings were wrong. The ships were unlike anything humanity had seen, sleek, dark vessels with energy signatures that pulsed rhythmically, almost as if they were alive. Governor Kale was alerted immediately. Ethan was summoned to the council chamber where Lyra and her father awaited him. "This is not a training exercise," Kale said grimly. "These ships are unknown. We have no idea who they are or what they want." Ethan's mind raced. "Are we under threat?" Kale nodded. "Possibly. Their formation suggests intent, not exploration, and they are closing in fast." Lyra's hand touched Ethan's arm. "We've trained for this in simulations, but this is real. We'll need all your skills now." Ethan took a deep breath. "Then let's make sure Nova Prime stays safe." The Valari, though cautious, began working alongside humans to prepare defenses. Energy shields were activated, transport shuttles were readied, and weapon systems, though limited, were tested and calibrated. Ethan moved from station to station, offering guidance and learning from the Valari's unique methods. Despite the tension, there was a sense of purpose. Humans were resilient, Valari were disciplined, and together they formed a team stronger than either species alone. But the unknown fleet was intelligent, and Ethan knew that relying on routine strategies would be disastrous. They needed creativity, unpredictability, and human ingenuity, qualities the Valari often underestimated. As the fleet approached, the first wave of alien scouts entered Nova Prime's orbit. They were fast, sleek, and seemingly coordinated, darting through space like living shadows. Valari sensors struggled to predict their movements, and panic threatened to ripple through the ranks. Ethan stepped forward. "Listen, don't panic. We've trained for unexpected scenarios. We'll use what we know, and we'll adapt the rest. Humans are good at improvisation. Let's show them why." He coordinated with both Valari and human pilots. Using quick calculations and instinct, he suggested formations that allowed shuttles to maneuver unpredictably, making it difficult for the alien scouts to target them. He analyzed the fleet's energy patterns and noticed a rhythm in their attacks. By predicting their next moves, Ethan directed the defenders to exploit gaps in their formation. Lyra watched him, astonished. "You see things they don't," she whispered. Ethan didn't answer. His focus was absolute. The first clash erupted near the colony's outer perimeter. Alien ships swerved around energy shields, firing plasma bursts, while human shuttles darted between them. Ethan gave precise instructions, coordinating defensive maneuvers and rerouting power to shields where needed. One scout managed to breach the defenses, heading straight for a populated area. Without hesitation, Ethan calculated the trajectory, factoring in gravitational pull from Nova Prime's moon, and directed a Valari interceptor to intercept it. The scout was pushed off course, crashing harmlessly into the planet's surface. The council chamber monitored the battle. Governor Kale observed silently, his expression unreadable. "This human, he's more capable than I anticipated," he muttered to Lyra. Lyra nodded, pride shining in her eyes. "I told you, Dad. Humans can surprise you." But the victory was temporary. A second wave of alien ships appeared, larger and more aggressive. Ethan realized that conventional defense wouldn't hold. The alien fleet had intelligence, and they were learning from every move. Nova Prime could be overwhelmed if he didn't act creatively. He took a bold step. "We'll use our environment," he said to Lyra and Kale. "The asteroids in this sector can be used as cover. If we move shuttles and defensive ships through them strategically, we can break their formations and gain an advantage." Lyra's eyes widened. "That's risky. If we miscalculate, we could lose everything." Ethan's jaw tightened. "I know, but it's our best chance, trust me." The fleet followed Ethan's plan. Shuttles darted between asteroids, using them as shields, while defensive drones moved to cut off alien ships. The alien fleet, unaccustomed to such unpredictable tactics, faltered. Energy beams missed their targets, and coordination broke down. Humans and Valari took advantage, striking back with precise, controlled attacks. In the midst of the chaos, Ethan noticed a pattern in the aliens' energy pulses. Their weapons had a short cooldown after each discharge, a flaw in their design. "They have a rhythm," he muttered. "If we strike between pulses, we can disable their ships without risking ours." He relayed instructions to the Valari commanders, coordinating attacks to exploit the weakness. One by one, alien ships faltered, systems overloaded, and they began retreating from Nova Prime's orbit. As the last of the scouts disengaged, a cheer erupted among the human crew. Even the Valari, usually reserved, expressed relief and admiration. Ethan allowed himself a small smile, but he remained vigilant. This was only a skirmish. The main fleet could arrive at any moment. Lyra approached him, her face glowing with respect. "You did it. You saved lives today." Ethan shook his head. "We did it. Humans and Valari together. That's the real reason we survived." Governor Kale entered, his stern expression softened slightly. "Ethan Riker, you've proven more than skill today. You've shown leadership, intelligence, and the ability to unite two very different species under pressure. I can see now why my daughter trusted you." Ethan nodded, humbled. "Thank you, sir, but I couldn't have done it alone. It was a team effort." Kale's eyes met his with a rare warmth. "Still, it takes someone exceptional to coordinate so effectively. You have the mark of humanity's best qualities: courage, creativity, and resilience. Nova Prime is safer because of you." As the council chamber cleared, Ethan and Lyra stood on the observation deck once more. The stars stretched endlessly before them, but the shadow of the approaching main fleet lingered in their minds. "Do you think the fleet we faced was just a scouting party?" Lyra asked, concern in her voice. Ethan shook his head. "No, this was only the beginning. They're testing us, learning about our defenses. The real threat is still out there." Lyra's hand brushed his arm. "Then we'll face it together, humans and Valari, side by side. We survived today, and we'll survive whatever comes next." Ethan smiled faintly. "I like the sound of that. We've proven something today. Humans aren't just fighters. We adapt. We think. We lead. And that makes us unpredictable, even to the most advanced enemies." The sun dipped behind Nova Prime's horizon, casting long shadows across the colony. Ethan's mind raced with plans, calculations, and contingencies. The simulations had prepared him, but the real universe was far more unpredictable. Yet he felt confident. Humans were resilient, clever, and capable of more than anyone expected. He turned to Lyra. "Tomorrow we begin preparations for the fleet's main attack. We need every human, every Valari, and every ounce of strategy we can muster. If we work together, we can face them, and we'll prove that nothing can break us." Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "Then let's get to work. The galaxy won't know what hit them." As they watched the stars, Ethan knew one thing for certain. The coming battles would test humanity's ingenuity, courage, and spirit like never before. But he also knew they had something the aliens didn't: the power of trust, cooperation, and relentless human determination. And in the endless void of space, that was a force no enemy could ignore. The morning on Nova Prime dawned with a chill in the air. Ethan Riker stood atop the observation deck, staring out at the stars. The fleet they had encountered yesterday was only a prelude. He knew the main alien force was coming, larger, more organized, and far more dangerous. But today was different. Today, he had an idea, a plan that could turn the tables. Humans and Valari had worked together in small groups before, but now they needed full coordination. A united front. And Ethan knew exactly how to make it happen. Lyra joined him, her red hair catching the morning light. "You've been quiet all morning. Plotting something?" she asked, a teasing smile on her face. Ethan turned to her. "I'm thinking about how we can use our differences to our advantage. The aliens think they understand us, but they don't. Humans are unpredictable. Valari are precise. If we combine both strengths, we can outsmart them." Lyra nodded slowly. "So, you want to form a real alliance, not just a temporary partnership?" "Exactly," Ethan said. "We'll synchronize our efforts, use the colony's environment, and create strategies they won't expect. But it has to be quick. The main fleet could be here any hour." Governor Kale entered at that moment, accompanied by several Valari commanders. "Ethan, Lyra," he said, his tone serious. "I've been reviewing your plans. The simulations and yesterday's skirmish prove your leadership. I'm ready to authorize a full coordination of humans and Valari under your command." Ethan swallowed. "Understood, sir. I'll do my best." The council room filled with a buzz of activity as humans and Valari gathered. Ethan explained his strategy step by step. They would divide the fleet into small, agile units, each consisting of humans and Valari. Humans would handle unpredictable maneuvers and improvisation, while Valari would provide precision firepower and shield management. He also incorporated environmental advantages. Nova Prime's asteroid belt could be used for cover, forcing the aliens to split their formations and creating blind spots. Gravity wells and orbital anomalies would be leveraged to misdirect enemy ships. A Valari commander, tall and glowing faintly in the dim light, spoke up. "Your strategy is unorthodox. It relies on humans improvising under pressure." Ethan met his gaze steadily. "Yes, humans are unpredictable, and sometimes that unpredictability is the best weapon." Lyra stepped forward. "And we'll work together. Every human will have a Valari partner, every plan cross-checked and supported. If we stick to the strategy, the enemy won't know what hit them." The preparations began immediately. Engineers reinforced energy shields, pilots ran simulations, and civilians were assigned evacuation procedures in case of breaches. Ethan moved between stations, offering advice, adjusting plans, and ensuring communication lines between humans and Valari were flawless. Hours passed, and tension grew. Finally, the fleet appeared on sensors. This was no longer a scouting party. Hundreds of sleek, dark ships formed an organized attack formation, advancing with deadly precision. Ethan surveyed the scene. "Remember our plan. Use the asteroids, control your energy shields, and stay unpredictable. Humans, trust your instincts. Valari, trust your calculations. Together, we are unstoppable." The first wave of aliens entered Nova Prime's orbit. At once, the strategy was put to the test. Human pilots swerved unpredictably, while Valari managed shields and weapons with mechanical precision. Alien sensors struggled to predict movements, and gaps opened in their formation. Ethan guided the units from the observation deck, giving precise instructions. One Valari shuttle was flanked by 2 alien fighters. Using a combination of asteroid cover and sudden acceleration, the human pilot evaded the attack, while the Valari's calculated energy pulse disabled 1 alien ship. "Excellent!" Lyra shouted. "That's exactly what we practiced." But the aliens adapted quickly. A large cruiser broke formation and targeted the colony directly, firing energy beams that threatened to overwhelm defenses. Ethan's mind raced. He couldn't simply defend. They needed to turn the attack into an advantage. "Draw them toward the asteroid belt," he commanded. "We'll force them to split and then strike when they're vulnerable." Human and Valari pilots executed the maneuver perfectly. The alien cruiser followed, and as it entered the dense asteroid field, its formation broke. Energy beams collided with asteroids, forcing the enemy ships to scatter. Humans and Valari took advantage, striking with precision from multiple angles. Ethan noticed another pattern. The alien weapons had a brief cooldown after firing. He relayed instructions to Valari commanders. "Wait for the pulse, then strike all at once. Timing is everything." The coordinated attack worked flawlessly. Alien ships were disabled or forced to retreat. Nova Prime's defenses held, and the combined human-Valari forces gained confidence. The aliens hadn't expected such unity and ingenuity. During a brief pause in the battle, Ethan walked through the command center. Humans and Valari worked side by side, exchanging ideas and adjusting tactics in real time. It was more than cooperation. It was true alliance. Lyra followed him, excitement in her eyes. "Look at this. They're actually learning from each other." Ethan nodded. "This is what makes humans special. We adapt, we improvise. And when we combine that with Valari precision, we become unstoppable." The battle resumed. This time, Ethan implemented another innovative tactic. He ordered smaller squads to simulate retreat, drawing alien ships into narrow corridors near the planet's surface. Gravity wells and orbital anomalies amplified their movements, and when the aliens least expected it, hidden human Valari units struck from above and below, disabling key enemy vessels. The alien fleet began to falter. Ships retreated, confused by the combined strategy. Their communications were disrupted, and their coordination broke down. Nova Prime had turned the tide. Governor Kale watched silently, his expression one of quiet pride. "Ethan Riker," he said to Lyra, "your strategy has saved this colony. You've done more than prove your worth. You've proven the strength of humanity and the power of alliance." Lyra smiled at Ethan, her earlier faith in him fully confirmed. "I knew you could do it," she said softly. Ethan allowed himself a small smile. "We did it together. Humans and Valari. That's the real victory." The aliens finally retreated completely, disappearing into the void beyond Nova Prime. The colony erupted in celebration. But Ethan knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats, and this victory was only a small step in humanity's journey. Later, as the sun set over Nova Prime, Ethan and Lyra walked through the colony. Humans and Valari repaired damaged systems, shared stories, and laughed together, a symbol of trust and cooperation. "You know," Lyra said, "your strategy didn't just save the colony. It changed the way humans and Valari see each other. They'll remember this." Ethan nodded. "That's the point. If we can survive this, we can survive anything. And we'll face the future together, smarter, stronger, and united." Lyra smiled, her eyes bright with determination. "Then let's make sure Nova Prime is ready for whatever comes next." Ethan looked at the stars, feeling a surge of hope and pride. Humanity had proven itself, not just through strength or technology, but through ingenuity, courage, and the ability to unite with others. The galaxy was full of unknowns, but one thing was certain: humans were a force to be reckoned with. And as the night fell over Nova Prime, Ethan knew that the alliance they had forged between humans, Valari, and hope itself would guide them through every challenge ahead. The morning sun cast soft golden light across Nova Prime, illuminating the repairs and rebuilding efforts of the colony. The battle against the alien fleet was over, but the work had just begun. Ethan Riker walked through the corridors, observing humans and Valari side by side, repairing ships, recalibrating shields, and sharing meals. The atmosphere was alive with purpose, laughter, and a newfound sense of trust. Ethan felt a quiet satisfaction. The fleet had tested them, challenged their skills, and pushed them to their limits. Yet humanity had proven itself in ways that no simulations or training exercises could replicate. Humans were clever, adaptable, and capable of inspiring others to greatness, qualities that made them unpredictable and valuable in the galaxy. Lyra approached him, holding a tablet displaying the reports of the past 2 days. "The damage was significant, but not catastrophic," she said. "Thanks to your leadership, losses were minimal. And the Valari, they're actually talking about collaborating with humans on future missions." Ethan smiled. "That's good news. It's not just about surviving. It's about building relationships, trust, and showing that humans aren't just fighters. We bring strategy, creativity, and flexibility to the table." Lyra nodded. "Your father will want to see you now. He has something to say." Ethan followed her to the council chamber. Governor Kale waited, standing tall and composed. His expression was serious at first, but a faint smile softened his features. "Ethan Riker," he said, his voice steady and commanding. "The events of the past days have proven something remarkable. You have not only defended Nova Prime, but you have shown leadership, courage, and intelligence. More importantly, you have bridged the gap between humans and Valari, forming a true alliance." Ethan felt a surge of pride but kept his composure. "Thank you, sir. I only did what I thought needed to be done. Humans and Valari working together, that was always the goal." Kyle's gaze softened as he looked at Lyra. "Your trust in him was not misplaced," he said. "I see now why you believed in his abilities." Lyra smiled, glancing at Ethan. "I told you, Dad. I trusted him from the start." Kale turned back to Ethan. "Humanity has always been underestimated, especially by other species. But your actions have proven that humans are clever, adaptable, and capable of inspiring cooperation. You've earned respect, not just mine, but from the Valari and every human here." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. Recognition was one thing, but respect earned through action was something far greater. He nodded, acknowledging the weight of the moment. "I'm honored, sir, and I'll continue to do everything I can to protect this colony and foster cooperation." Kale's expression turned thoughtful. "The galaxy is vast, and threats will come. But today, you've shown that humans are not just survivors. You are innovators, leaders, and allies. Nova Prime will remember your actions, and so will the Valari." Lyra stepped closer to Ethan, her voice soft but full of emotion. "You've proven yourself in ways I hoped you would. And more than that, you've shown that humans can rise to any challenge, no matter how impossible it seems." Ethan smiled faintly. "I only did what anyone would do in my place. But thank you, Lyra. Your trust gave me the courage to act." Outside, the colony buzzed with activity. Shuttles carried supplies, engineers repaired the energy shields, and humans and Valari worked side by side without hesitation. The lessons of the battle were clear. Cooperation, ingenuity, and trust were more powerful than raw strength or advanced technology alone. Later, Ethan walked through the hydroponic gardens, where Lyra was showing a group of Valari and human engineers how to cultivate a new type of plant adapted to Nova Prime's conditions. The glowing plant swayed gently, reflecting the soft sunlight. "These plants are fragile," Lyra explained. "They need care, attention, and teamwork to thrive, just like our colony." Ethan watched the humans and Valari work together, passing tools, sharing instructions, and correcting mistakes without frustration. "It's amazing," he said quietly, "not just surviving the battle, but seeing everyone collaborate like this. That's what makes this place special." Lyra smiled, brushing her hair back from her face. "It's proof of what we can do when we trust each other. You helped make this possible, Ethan." He shook his head modestly. "I only guided them. The real work comes from everyone here. Humans, Valari. They all stepped up when it mattered most." As the day progressed, the council called a formal gathering to recognize the contributions of both humans and Valari. Ethan and Lyra stood together as Governor Kale addressed the colony. "Today, we celebrate not just victory," Kale said, his voice carrying across the plaza, "but unity. Humans and Valari have faced a threat together, and in doing so, they have proven that cooperation and trust are stronger than fear and division. We honor the courage, intelligence, and dedication of those who protected Nova Prime, especially Ethan Riker, whose leadership inspired all of us." A cheer rose from the crowd, human and Valari alike. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. The recognition was not for him alone, it was for everyone who had worked, adapted, and persevered in the face of danger. Lyra took his hand, her grip firm and reassuring. "You've earned every bit of this," she said. "Your promise wasn't just words." Ethan looked at her, feeling a deep connection. "I meant every word, and I'll continue to prove it. Every day." As evening fell, Ethan stood on the observation deck once more, watching the stars stretch endlessly before him. The fleet had retreated, but the universe remained full of unknowns. He knew challenges would come again, threats that could test humanity and the alliances they had built. But he also knew something else. Humanity was remarkable. Humans were clever, adaptable, and capable of uniting with others to overcome seemingly impossible odds. And he, along with those who trusted him, had proven that. Lyra joined him, standing quietly by his side. "What now?" she asked. Ethan smiled, looking out at the galaxy. "Now we prepare. We continue to build trust, strengthen our defenses, and explore the unknown. Nova Prime is safe today, but the universe will always test us. And when it does, humans will be ready." Lyra leaned slightly against him, her eyes reflecting the stars. "I believe that. I've seen it firsthand." Ethan nodded. "It's not just belief, it's reality. Humans have always been underestimated. But time and again, we've shown resilience, intelligence, and courage. And now, the Valari know it too." The stars shimmered in silence as the colony thrived below. Nova Prime was a testament to cooperation, trust, and human ingenuity. And Ethan Riker, once a lone pilot arriving at a frontier colony, had become a symbol of humanity's potential, a reminder that cleverness, courage, and determination could turn even the most impossible challenges into triumphs. Lyra smiled at him. "Do you ever stop thinking about the stars?" Ethan chuckled softly. "Never. There's always something new out there, something unknown. But one thing is certain. Wherever the stars take us, humans will rise to the challenge." Lyra's smile widened. "Then let's make sure we're ready for the next adventure." Ethan turned back to the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. Humanity had proven itself on Nova Prime, but the galaxy was vast. And he knew that with courage, ingenuity, and trust, humans could face anything. For the first time in a long while, Ethan felt an unwavering certainty. Humanity's place among the stars was not given, but earned, and they were more than capable of earning it. And as the twin suns of Nova Prime set behind the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, Ethan and Lyra stood together, ready to lead, to explore, and to prove that humanity's story was just beginning. The universe was vast, dangerous, and full of mysteries, but humanity, clever, brave, and relentless, would face it head-on. and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging the beginning of a legend.